Welcome back to the 11th week of my Empires Season 2 recap. What has happened this week? Let's find out. Gemini Tay started off by mining for diamonds as monarch of a kingdom can't be poor. On the journey, she finds a spider spawner. This will be useful for later. Not for now though, as she just wants diamonds. Now having more cobbled deep slate from the mining session, she continues to get back work on her roads while proceeding to build a fountain in the middle of it. Getting a mini honey head from a wandering trader, this spawner will now be of use. As she's not a princess too fond of slaying, she proceeds to visit Princess Catherine of Glimmergrove to ask if they can combine forces for the spider farm. Plus, if she accepts, there'll be candles to make, as to make candles you need string. However, there needs to be a place for these candles to be sold, which is exactly what she does. But while building, Whip and Sausage come along to introduce her to a new flower they found, the Wither Rose. Even if it does hurt her and smells unpleasant, the bees that reside in a greenhouse like it, so that all that matters in the current moment. After all that, both in and exterior of the shop is completed. Whole Symmetry had another dream, but this time, instead of flying on an airship, she had some incredible wings, which, despite not being an original site on the server anymore, still wanted to make a pair of her own. Yet, before we can see her concept art for her wings, the wall where her workshop will be has a sign on it saying, "The Evermore Fog is always listening, waiting." What could this mean? Are you listening to her right now? And importantly, how will this relate to her? She is not Shelby. Those matters don't get in the way of her building the workshop behind it, where the wings are eventually built. Pretty accurate to her concept. Naturally, she wants to show them off to other rulers, yet isn't able to find any in the Evermore or the Great Bridge, where in the meantime she proceeds to claim her tower. While having observed everyone else's empires, she gets the impression that her empire needs to be more town-like than anything, which gives hope that if she does this, many more people will come. First step is improving her interior, then connecting herself to the Nether Roof transport system so people can easily get to her empire as easily as everyone else's. Whip decides that would be a good idea to appreciate the members of the server travelling half the world to come to his wedding by putting a warden in their bases. So in total this episode, 6 wardens will be needed specifically wrapped for Lizzie, Joe, Scott, Sausage, Gem and Jimmy, also that they remember him when he's on his honeymoon. Acquiring the ability of secret ear flight wings from Shelby, meaning being able to fly with just his small ears, gets the sheriff on what to do about the man in the cage. The agreement put upon the man would be that he'd have to work in a tavern until he got a stack of diamonds. Who knew that he could have escaped this entire time? But now we progress back to the wardens. As people haven't left yet, Whip decides to spend the time digging tunnels to transport the warden to each of the rulers' empires. First to get their gift was Lizzie of Animalia, Joe of Stratus having to build up a pillar to get to the warden up in the sky to harm no villager, the sheriff in Tumbletown showing off the new wheat texture, Jim of Dawn and Sausage of Sanctuary, with of course many deaths in between. At least one death per warden given. No need to worry though, as this is all in good fun and they are all real friends. Meanwhile, doing this thank you for coming to my wedding operation, Whip goes to Falls to do an investment, giving her an entire shulk box of emeralds for all kinds of books, telling her what kinds of enchants he would like, such as mending, prot 4, power 4 5, efficiency and unbreaking. It is now time to wait and see what she will offer back to him. Hopefully one day he'll be able to make the shiny boots he so desires. Smaller screens with the limited time he has to record totally will annoy anyone who comes online, while building a carrot farm at the same time for the sake of content and the ease of villager breeding. Complementary to the carrot farm is a farmhouse on it, led by a pathway decorated by trees and flowers. Having had to replace the stratosphere himself, Joel didn't want Pirate Joel to think he had one, so he gives a little gift to him of over 650 plus boats in one spot. Being the special man he is, builds 2 buildings for his tavern, while mentioning that he wants the village below to have a crowded vibe to it. Having gotten the ancient debris to upgrade his axe, shovel and sword, takes Hermes back to Sanctuary in front of a fountain as he doesn't know which house is Hermes, with a stack of quartz and bone meal in hopes to make things bigger. What he did was way more than he had expected to do this episode. Pirate Joe dedicates his time to gather gifts and treasures for Catherine from other empires to express his love for her, as she would need it more than whoever it had belonged to before. First is the Goblin, with a pile of raw gold. Not too much to notice, of course. This gets him excited for his wedding, which he'll get so many wedding gifts, unintentionally being a good business plan. Next victim is the Animalian Amethyst, taken fast, seeing the bell as a potential alarm system. Security is also present at Crimea, where he steals just a few flower fields, even if it is just Whip's warden present. Last victim is Storm, where he steals the most variety of things, including a stack of honeycomb blocks, some redstone blocks, lapis blocks, and some flowering azalea leaves. Seeing all the items in his inventory looking like a rainbow signifies that it is time to give the gifts. Having put them right in front of the entrance of a castle, he still has some to spare, so carves a room in all of them to bless it, plus gear to give good energy. He'd definitely want a hand in marriage if anyone did this to him. Besides this, Joey wants to build a town square for his empire. This journey starts off with building a gateway leading to where it'll eventually be, surrounded by palm trees and bone-milled grass. The town square itself will be inspired by the Pirates of the Caribbean, each building being different from each other. Right off the bat, Pixriff's episode starts off with him building a museum for the city, which originally could have been a stately home standing the test of time. The attic would be for stuff they're still investigating, while the main floor would be stuff they would want to show, like fossils, artifacts, and paintings. First addition to the museum would involve a trip to Tumbletown to find the diamond-infused fossil beneath it, which had been temporarily encased by Pix earlier in the season. Being rebuilt using light mica, the centerpiece for his museum had been implemented, just like it had been before in the cave, even the signs, so much so that zombies are even lining up to see it. One relic in a museum just can't do, so several smaller exhibits were added opposite to the fossil. For example, in the Deep Dark exhibit, there was an echo shard and a piece of a dish, then rare blocks like ancient debris and gilded blackstone. In the center, there'd be a display of an emerald ore head and a sheriff toy, which he had both acquired for being the judge of the trial. We then end it all with the St. Pearl painting from the Mythical Sausage collection being hung up straight in view, catching your attention when entering the museum. In the meantime, Pix had dug a tunnel behind his bridge gateway to the abandoned city itself, which will eventually have some form of balcony extended from it, when in close proximity to the city itself, where people would be able to access it through as well. Mythical Sausage had remembered that the mosaic from the last episode had looked familiar from his old empire. People used to honour an unnamed sunflower goddess who they would pray to if things took a turn for the worse. While in the vision, talking to her, she had seemed like a very kind person, seeming like a friend or family to him. Learning that her name was Pearl, despite never ever remember being in that situation. Whose memories are these? The vision is added to the board. Three stuff could happen now after this. Either the visions go away completely, like they had never existed, they continue but don't get any worse, or the dreaded him not being able to escape the prison of memories he's never had. It's nothing he can't fix though without the help from friends and family. However, while having a stroll through Sanctuary, he notices a washed up Ollie in an obvious state of pain, barely being able to walk, wanting to be carried. Being the achy breaky man he is, appreciates Sausage for everything once he's in the tavern. We now know that the man is blind. Once in the tavern, still being in audible pain, Sausage gives Ollie a drink to hopefully ease the pain, while also leading him to a room in the tavern itself to rest. While being pushed out of the room for misunderstanding, Sausage gets another vision. This time, however, unlike previous visions, he's able to move and control himself. Yet, why does he look different? What is going on? Entering the church building that lay in front of him is an Ollie at the altar singing a peaceful tune, but who cares about that though? Once leaving the building, he's snapped back to reality, both him and Ollie being confused. Sausage now wonders who Ollie truly is. Is he a magician who teleported there? Yet this couldn't be the case, as it must have been their fates which collided, as he looks like an old friend and dog of Ollie's. While introducing his child to the man, Sausage reveals to us that he can't read the questionable signs that Sausage and Joel leave each other with Hermes, as he can't read English, only Old English texts, Greek, Spanish and Japanese, as he watches too much anime, which is a problem. Eventually, Sausage leaves the man at Catherine's, as he wants new drip, and that's something only Catherine could provide him. Having been given such a wonderful gift from Thunder Daddy, Sausage wants repay in something only Sanctuary could provide, a special netherite infused confused axe called Daddy Sausage's magical wood giver so he can give wood even when he's not around. Going to Shelby, wanting a favour of some wings, he is given a potion of regeneration that will hopefully answer his visions, yet gets another vision. Unlike all the other visions, however, it is of a memory he does remember, and it was a place that he used to stay when he was younger, working his old outfit. Who knew Shelby could send you back to the past? Unfortunately, this doesn't last long before being sent back to the present. Even though getting bone meal from Joel, it still isn't enough, so it requires a moss farm to be built. Surrounding it will be a chapel of moss, no church, as it's got something special planned for that. Adding the 2 visions from the episode with the others, he recollects his interaction with Ollie. How apparently he had known him for a long time, being suddenly transported to another realm. Whether it was in the past or future is uncertain. He assumes the past, as it was the same tune he had played when in Jem's Tavern. Potentially this is the budding experience, living the life he had once had, yet who can know more than that it is escalating. He and Bubbles will eventually find out what is going on. Thank you for watching my Empires Season 2 Week 11 recap. Make sure to like and subscribe with the bell so you never miss a recap, maybe by even leaving a comment as well. I really appreciate when you do. Goodbye.